Hello. I have a friend named Kim, and she asked me if I'd read the Book of Esther. And I have wanted to read it before, but since she asked, I'm going to go ahead and try to do it now. And it will take a few videos because my phone doesn't record very long, and before it shuts off. So it'll probably be a few videos for me to do it, so I'm going to try to hurry up and do it. Now it came to pass in the days of Ahasuerus, this is Ahasuerus, which reigned from India even unto Ethiopia, over 127 provinces, that in those days when the king Ahasuerus sat on the throne of his kingdom, which was in Shushan the palace, in the 3rd year of his reign, made a feast unto all his princes and servants, the powers of Persia and Media, the nobles and princes of all provinces being before him. When he showed the riches of his glorious kingdom and the honor of his excellent majesty many days, even 180 days. And when these days were expired, the king made a feast unto all the people that were present in Shushan the palace, both unto great and small, 7 days in the garden of the king's palace, where were white, green, blue hangings fastened with cords of fine linen, and purple to silver rings, and pillars of marble. The beds were of gold and silver, upon the pavement of red, blue, white, black, and marble. And they gave them drink in vessels of gold, the vessels being diverse from one from another, and the royal wine in abundance, according to the state of the king. And the drink was according to the law, none did compel. For so the king had appointed to all the officers of the house that they should do according to every man's pleasure. So Vashti the queen made a feast for all women in the royal house, which belonged to King Ahasuerus. On the 7th day, when the heart of the king was merry with wine, he commanded Mehuman, Biztha, Harbona, Bigtha, Bagtha, Zetar, I don't know how to say these words and I'm sorry, Carcass, the 7 chamberlains of the servant, in the presence of Ahasuerus the king, to bring Vashti the queen before the king with the crown royal, to show the people and the princes her beauty, for she was fair to look upon. But the queen Vashti refused to come at the king's commandment by his chamberlains. Therefore was the king very wroth, and his anger burned within him. Then the king said to the wise men which knew the times, for so the king's manner toward all that knew the law and judgment, and the next unto him was Karshena, Sethar, Amartha, Tarshish, Maracina, and Mecuman, the 7 princes of Persia and Media. I am not good at sounding words out. I never have been. Which saw the king's face, and which sat the first in the kingdom. What shall we do unto the queen Vashti according to the law, because she hath not performed the commandment of the king Ahasuerus by the chamberlains? And Mecuman answered before the king and the princes, Vashti the queen hath not done wrong to the king only, but to all the princes and the people that are here, that are in all the provinces of the king Ahasuerus. For this deed of the queen shall come abroad unto all women, so that they shall despise their husbands in their eyes when it shall be reported. And King Ahasuerus commanded the king Ahasuerus commanded Vashti the queen to be brought in before him, but she came not. Likewise shall the ladies of Persia and Media say that this day unto the kings, princes, which have heard of the deed of the queen, thus shall there arise too much contempt and wrath. If it please the king, let there go out a royal commandment from him, and let it be written among the laws of the Persians and Medes, that it be not altered, that Vashti come no more before the king Ahasuerus, and let the king give her royal estate unto another that is better than she. And when the king's decree which he shall make shall be published throughout all this his empire, for it was great, all the wives shall give their husbands honor both to great and small. And the saying pleased the king and the princes, and they did so according to the words of Mecumen. For he sent letters unto all the king's provinces, and to every province according to the writing thereof, and every people after their language, and every man should bear rule in his own house, and that it should be published according to the language of every people. After these things, when the wrath of the king Ahasuerus was appeased, he remembered Vashti, that she and what she had done, and what was decreed against her. Then said the king's servant that ministered unto him, Let there be a fair young virgin sought for the king, and let the king appoint officers in all the provinces of the kingdom, that they may gather together all the fair young virgins unto Shushan the palace, to bring the house of the women unto the custody of Haggai, the king's chamberlain, keeper of the women, and let their things for purification be given them, and let the maidens which please the king be queen instead of Vashti. And the things pleased the king, and he did so. Now in Shushan the palace there was a certain Jew whose name was Mordecai, the son of Jair, the son of Shimei, the son of Kish, the son of Benjamin, who had been carried away from Jerusalem with the captivity which had been carried away with Jehoiada, the king of Judah, whom Nebuchadnezzar, the king, why is it easier for me to, from Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, had carried away. And he brought up Hadassah, that this Esther, his uncle's daughter, for she had neither father nor mother, and the maid was fair and beautiful, whom Mordecai, when her father and mother were dead, took her unto his own daughter. So it came to pass, when the king's commandment and his decree was heard, and when many maidens were gathered together unto Shushan the palace, to the custody of Haggai, that Esther was brought also unto the king's house, to the custody of Haggai, the keeper of the women. And the maiden pleased him, and she obtained kindness of him, and he speedily gave her things for purification, which such things as belonged to her, and 7 maidens which were meet to be given her out of the king's house. And he preferred her and her maidens unto the best place of the house of the women. Esther had not showed her people nor her kindred, for Mordecai had charged her that she should not show it. And Mordecai walked every day before the court and the women's house, to know how Esther did, and how she and what should become of her. Now when every maid's turn was come to go into King Ahasuerus, after that she had been 12 months, according to the manner of women, for so were the days of the purification accomplished, to wit, 6 months with oil of myrrh, and 6 months of sweet odors, and with other things for the purifying of the women. Then thus came every maiden unto the king, whatsoever she desired was given her to go with her. Out of the house of the women unto the king's house. And in the evening she went, and on the morrow she returned into the second house of the women, to the custody of Ashig, the king's chamberlain. I'm so sorry. Which kept the concubines. She came unto the king no more, except the king delighted in her, and that she were called by name. Now when the turn of Esther, the daughter of Abihai, the uncle of Mordecai, who had taken her for his daughter, was come into the king's, she required nothing but Haggai, and the king's chamberlain, the keeper of the women, appointed, and Esther obtained favor in the sight of all that looked upon her. So Esther was taken unto the king Ahasuerus, unto his house royal, in the 10th month, which is the month of Tebeth, in the 7th year of his reign. And the king loved Esther above all women, and she obtained grace and favor in his sight more than all the virgins, so that he set the royal crown upon her head, and made her queen instead of Vashti. Then the king made a great feast unto all his princes and servants, even Esther's feast. And he made a release to the providences, and gave gifts according to the state of the king. And when the virgins were gathered together the second time, then Mordecai sat at the king's gate. Esther had not yet showed her kindred nor her people, as Mordecai had charged her. For Esther did the commandment of Mordecai, like as when she was brought up with him. In those days, while Mordecai sat at the king's gate, 2 of the king's chamberlains, Bigthan and Tersha, which kept the door, were wroth, and sought to lay hands on the king Ahasuerus. And this thing was known to Mordecai, who told it unto Esther the queen, and Esther certified the king therefore in Mordecai's name. And when inquisition was made of the matter, it was found out. Therefore they were both hanged on a tree, and it was written in the book of the Chronicles before the king. That's all I'm going to get to do right now, because I'm running late on this video. Okay, I'm going to try to finish all this up. I hope you have a good and blessed day, and I thank you very much for listening, and I'm sorry I don't know how to say them words right. Forgive me. Thank you. Have a good day. Goodbye.